It's a tale as old as time. For thousands of years, sales and marketing have been fighting each other. And even though we talk a lot of marketing on this channel, I've personally been on the other side. I've been in sales, and from working with hundreds of clients, we know how much better results are and how much happier people are when sales and marketing get along. And it's my dream that you experience this too. Some say it's a bold, audacious, outrageous dream even, but it's my dream nonetheless. The reality is, as marketers, sales has information that we need. And we marketers have the power to drive the leads that sales want. But too often, these teams think that there are odds with each other and have different purposes. Well, today, let's dispel these myths and start the healing process. Why the gap exists between sales and marketing. To fix the feud between sales and marketing, first we need to understand why it exists in the first place. And as with many of life's problems involving humans, the gap exists because a lack of communication and too much assumption. As they say, never assume, it makes an ass of you and me. So here are some symptoms of the feud. Sales and marketing teams often think that the other doesn't value their work. For example, marketing sends the sales team leads that aren't really qualified and that they can't close. So the sales team gets annoyed at marketing. Sales then asks marketing to send more, better quality leads. Marketing feels like the sales team doesn't appreciate the leads that they have been sending. They might also feel some resentment that the sales team hasn't been able to close the leads like they think they should be able to. And the cycle continues. And marketers can sometimes feel like sales gets all the praise for the client's won, when it was really marketing that brought that lead in the first place. Whereas sales can feel like marketing gets too much credit for bringing the lead in when the real work starts actually turning that lead into a customer. Of course, a lot of this comes from each team making assumptions, working towards different targets, and not communicating enough. And what damage does this do? In a 2021 report from OutFunnel, they found that companies where the sales and marketing teams don't get along so well are falling behind. Only 43% of them saw revenues increase. On the flip side, revenue growth was 70% more common in companies where sales and marketing cooperated effectively. Now, we've got experience building this bridge for ourselves, but also we've worked with companies in every imaginable market that have had to bridge this gap between marketing and sales. So we're going to share our observations on how to make this partnership work really effectively and keep that communication working. Before we do that though, if you need to generate more leads or sales through your website, then the team at Exposure Ninja has some free help to help you do this. It's called the Free Website and Marketing Review. We will take a look at all of your digital marketing and we'll have a look at what your competitors are doing to generate leads themselves. We'll give you some recommendations on things like how to improve your website's performance, how to increase your visibility in search, what to do with your social media, and of course, what to do with your email marketing to generate more leads on autopilot. We'll turn all of this advice into a video which we'll send to you usually within 3 working days. It's completely free of charge. This service is fantastic. Go and check out the reviews online. Now, not everybody is eligible, so you do need to go to exposureninja.com/review to request your free website and digital marketing review today. Okay, the first step to healing this: speak to each other. Now, the key to effective communication between sales and marketing. Now, some businesses do this as a one-off event. They arrange a meeting between sales and marketing. But the key to make this really effective is to make this a regular, ongoing thing. It's a recurring meeting in the calendar with the sole goal of sharing information between the sales and marketing teams. Now, the goal of these meetings is to share what each team is working on and to get feedback and insight from the other team. It's really useful for marketing to know what sales are working on and what their priorities are, what their targets are, what they're noticing, and it's really useful to sales to see what marketing has been working on so that they can start to understand why particular types of leads might be coming through. Marketing can also get fantastically useful insight from the sales team about the questions that customers are asking and what terminology that they're using. This can feed back into the marketing and make it much more effective. At the same time, if sales are encountering common objections from leads, well, that's feedback for the marketing team that they might be able to handle some of these objections before these leads are making their way through to the sales team in order to improve their sales conversion rate. Now, the key to getting everyone bought into this and not just calling it a sales and marketing meeting is explaining to each team what they stand to gain from this. So for the marketers, The goal of these meetings is to get more insight from the sales team to help the marketing team improve their performance, generate leads, and hit whatever KPIs they have. For the sales team, who in my experience tend to be the ones that are slightly more resistant to these meetings, the goal of these meetings for them is to help the marketing team understand the types of leads that they want so that they can provide more of them. This sounds really basic, but making sure that each team understands what they stand to gain from these meetings is absolutely crucial to making sure they're fully bought in and show up with lots of energy and ideas. Step 2 is to align the teams. There are a few different areas between sales and marketing that need to be aligned. The first of these is quite obviously the goals that they are working towards. If sales have sales targets, but the marketing team are targeted on, say, growing the YouTube channel, the sales team are inevitably going to feel like the marketing team are working on just building fame for the sake of it on YouTube. They're going to feel like their purposes are completely disconnected. Let's say that your sales team have clear sales targets about the numbers that they need to hit, but yet your marketing team has been KPI'd on increasing organic traffic to the website, for example. Well, the sales team might look quite cynically at this and say, well, you're just trying to get more traffic to the website whether or not it's qualified and whether or not it's turning into leads. Whereas if it's clear to everyone that the marketing team's goal is to increase organic leads generated because they tend to be the highest converting and they tend to have the shortest sales cycle, then everyone can feel bought into that. The sales team know exactly why the marketing team are doing this work. On the flip side, if sales have a goal to sign up a particular type of customer and marketing knows about that goal, well, they can help by providing content that's going to be really useful to that type of customer. So again, this is about communication, but it's also about making sure each team has visibility on the other team's goals and making sure that those goals are actually aligned. One element that can often lead to confusion and frustration is tracking. If marketing and sales are tracking what counts as a lead or sale in a different way, then they can sometimes find themselves pulling in different directions. We've seen cases where marketing might be generating lots of leads that they are categorizing as high quality, but the sales team is marking half of these leads as low quality. The marketing team thinks they're doing an incredible job. The sales team's like, why are you sending me more of this stuff? In reality, the best way to categorize leads in marketing is to use the sales team's categorization. Ultimately, the most effective way to categorize leads in marketing is to use the same categorization process as what's going on in sales. That means everyone is working from the same perspective of what does good look like. This will of course also save the sales team time combing through the leads, trying to work out whether or not they're good quality. Now, on the topic of saving time, sales and marketing should also be collaborating on any pipeline and email automation that's going on. This is something that the marketing team often has skill at, but the sales team might not have set up things like pipeline automation and different email sequences to be triggered as leads go through their sales pipelines. So marketing can actually help sales save a bunch of time here, particularly if the sales team doesn't have much automation, they're using purely manual follow-up processes. Email sequences can be set up to send sales prospects case studies, handle objections, without the sales team having to dedicate that precious daily time to do those tasks. Keeping the good vibes going. Of course, once you've got the teams aligned, you really need to keep it that way, and this doesn't happen by accident. By default, the teams might slip back into their old habits. So there are a few ways that you can keep those good vibes going. Firstly, making sure those meetings between sales and marketing are regular. Put something in the diary, maybe once a month or once every couple of weeks, depending on the number of leads that you're dealing with and the size of the teams. That way, the teams get into the habit of open communication. It can also be useful to set reminders for the sales and marketing teams to share any info that they have with the other team. We do this in Slack, for example. By encouraging this sort of frequent sharing, you get to a point where the sales and marketing teams both tend to share anything that they find which could be useful to the other team. And once this starts playing out in better quality leads and a higher close rate, both teams will see the benefit of this type of collaboration. Now, from a marketer's perspective, it can be really difficult to communicate to sales if you don't have your marketing priorities straight in the first place. If you're not clear on the plan that you're following, how do you share a clear plan? Well, the first step is to watch this video, which shows you how to prioritize your marketing no matter how busy you are. Until next time, see you soon.